Well, welcome to Heart Centered Leadership. And this is not a training call. This is an opportunity for all of us to come together in this network marketing industry, this great vehicle where we get to use something to help us design our life of freedom, of contribution. And this is really so that we can get together and find out from each other where we have been leading from a heart centered place, where we may not have. And then ultimately, what I love is the opportunity to see the difference that that makes, not only for us individually or as a coupleship or as a team. That's really what is exciting. And so to kick this off, this is our first Heart Centered Leader call. And really wanted to just create that context that the training, if you will, is going to happen in performance, if you're familiar with that term. So the training part is going to be out there in life with people in conversations. Ooh. And then what we have the chance to do is come back and talk and chat and share about the places that we saw that we did come from a heart-centered place and where we didn't. And ultimately, in network marketing with this great vehicle, there are tons of tools. This is about what's duplicatable. There's so many things that work for the people, and what the point of this is for us to keep our eyes on our own paper, stay in alignment with our own heart, and then use the tools that align for us from a heart-centered leader perspective. We may not have to use all of them. The leaders in this company, the leaders in this industry share all the tools, and then we just get to choose what's most in alignment for us. That's what's really fun about this.
Yeah. So these calls are going to be mostly conversational. Like Aaron said, the training is the Facebook Lives in between. It's you being in action. So there's really a few conversations we want to have within this. And if you're watching the recording, I invite you, again, you committed to participating. So if you're not attending live, then to sit down with your journal and do some of these questions for yourself, and even write them in the group so we can all hear what you're discovering. The first question we want to talk about, so obviously you two gals locally are attending now, to share what does it mean to you? What are you discovering heart-centered means to you?
You want to go first, Katie?
I'm not sure. I think just trying to stay authentic to myself and not, and coming from that, I'm not like a salesy person, and I don't want to like overcome and start trying to sell, and just trying to remember to focus on my why I got involved, and try to share that instead of concentrating on trying to sell the product.
Mm-hmm. And so just to distinguish it a little bit more, because I'm hearing a little bit of what it's not, and our mind, when we focus on what it's not, creates more of what it's not, right? So there will be that fear of sales. So tell me a little bit more, just so that people watching afterwards can hear. So if it's like, set aside not sales, what is it to be authentic and heart-centered in talking to someone about their health goals and about Isagenix?
Just trying to be honest about the opportunity for the health. Like, this has, Isagenix in general has given me, the culture of the company and the products have helped me a lot more with my mental states than anything physical. And that's what I like to share about it. Because I'm not like necessarily looking for the weight loss aspect, and a lot of my friends wouldn't be looking for that, but I have a lot of friends that struggle with the same like mental, the being down on themselves and the insecurities. So helping people love themselves basically, and
that's so good. I love that. Yes, helping people love themselves. That's amazing, right?
I have a question, and that's so good. Thank you for stepping up and going first. And what I want to ask about is, can you own that you sell something for people to have that available in their life?
Can I own that I sell it? I mean, I guess so, but I don't want to come off as like salesy,
Is there something you want to say to that?
Yeah, well, that was
what you were asking?
Yeah, absolutely. No, when I started this myself, my dad had been in sales his whole career. I even told someone last week, I remember riding a bike with my dad saying I'm never going to be a salesman. I could never do that. And then I get into this and for me, I tried to resist that I was a salesman.
Mhm.
But when someone really made it flat for me and said, yes, you are. We are salesmen in everything we do. Whether you're a husband to a wife and a kid and you're trying to sell them on where you should go eat, or you're trying to sell them or are selling them on what shirt they should get or what diapers to buy. We just did a call about pregnancy. That's why I went with that. No, that's for somebody else.
Yeah.
And the person that we sell, let's check, this hit me in my gut. We are selling to ourselves constantly on our reasons why we cannot be the person that we were meant to be in our own greatness. So besides that, we sell people in everything, every conversation is a sales call, if you will. And mostly everything going up here is your mind and your ego selling you why you are not the greatness that we all know that everyone is around us.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that we dove right into this, and Katie, thanks for like being the bounce off point for this, because honestly, I bet everyone who's going to watch this afterwards is going to be like, oh wow, yeah, this is something I am looking at for myself too.
Well, and what I want to check in on was right there. Like, what did you hear for yourself? I mean, can we actually all own that? Yes, we are salesmen and we sell a kind of life where people can love themselves again.
I could see that.
Right. Well, and it's like when your heart just owns it, then there's nothing you're like hiding. Like if people just get like that, yeah, you're committed, that they take action on their dreams and their desires instead of just talk about it, people can get that. Like when people are honest with me, like from an authentic place, that there is something they want to sell, I love that. But I can there's an energy difference. I think what you're pointing to, Katie, is the energy behind it. Like not the trying to push, right? Like that's the sales energy we don't like, is the push. But there is the sales, what I talked about in the Facebook Live, of like being of service, and standing for someone. And so you can still, like if someone says, oh, do you sell Isagenix? You could say, yeah, I do. I help people achieve their goals, to own it, and leading from your heart to be of service. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing what heart-centered means to you. Tiff, what about you?
I would say similar to Katie, that it doesn't come across as what society looks at as a sleazy salesman, you know what I mean? Like a car salesman kind of personality, and really, in a sense, being a consultant, like there's consultative sales. And so, really, as somebody who leads with kind of in consultative sales, they tend to focus, their whole goal is, what are your clients' needs? What is the person standing in front of you? What are their needs? And then see if you have something that fits their needs, so it doesn't feel so like it's coming from my own agenda. It's really coming from what needs do they have? And I'll just the example I'll give that I met with somebody yesterday. Gosh, it was like a 2-hour lunch. It was the best lunch because it was a super deep conversation with a buddy of mine that I haven't seen in a year and a half or 2 years. And he had texted me and asked, he just said, hi, I just wanted to connect. And I haven't seen you for a while, and I'm looking to go down a different path in business. And he didn't know I would do Isagenix or anything like that. And so I went not with the standpoint of, I'm going to get him for Isagenix. That wasn't even a thought in my mind, although I thought maybe Isagenix would fit his need, And so anyway, I sat down and I just really talked with him about what is he considering. He was considering being a lawyer, or he was going back to school, or he was considering starting a pest control company. He was just kind of open. And I said, wow. So I dove into what's important to him, what lights him up in life. We talked about the big leap, the zone of genius, and all that kind of stuff. So I wasn't going there with the agenda of shoving Isagenix down his throat. I actually really wanted to understand his needs. And so we talked for almost an hour about what lights him up, what causes passion to come out of him. And then, so it was probably an hour and a half into our 2-hour conversation. He mentioned about fitness and health and all that kind of stuff. And so I just kind of organically brought up Isagenix, knowing I might bring it up if it falls in alignment. But, and he said, that just sounds like everything I'm looking for. It's low startup costs, because he has like 50 grand to put towards a startup, but he just doesn't know what he wants to do. And he's been searching for a year. And so it was just the fact that I brought it up, and I did have him watch Rise of the Entrepreneur before I met with him, not to shove network marketing down his throat, but just really to, open his eyes up to different options, that there's options out there. And so once I met him and I brought that up, I was curious as to how he would feel about it. And he said, that seems like exactly what I've been looking for. And it just felt so good to go and really try to help him identify what is important to him. And then if it falls in alignment, to bring Isagenix up for him. And his response was, thank you for even bringing this to my attention. I didn't even realize what it was all about. And so we just had a light conversation with it. And he really wants to, he wants to have a conversation with you both too for a couple different reasons, and Isagenix being one of them. But so anyway, that's kind of what I look at heart-centered is. I went there not with Isagenix is going to be our main topic and I'm going to jump right into it. It was just more really trying to help him find his vision in life. And then he kind of naturally went towards Isagenix would be a great fit for himself. And I was able to give that gift to him.
Woo! That is hot. That's it. That is heart-centered. And that's what this program is really about, is kind of the, some people have the conception of network marketing of try and just recruit anyone and push it and that's just not our approach to network marketing. And we can all be successful doing it just like you did, right? It's meeting with people, finding out what their needs and desires are. And here's the thing, some people's lights will be on and some people's lights will not be on. And it's not personal. You were going in totally unattached, like, okay, is his light on? Are we an energetic match for each other? I've gone to coffee with people before where, oh my gosh, I felt stressed being around them. It was like, man, I wouldn't want to, build this with you. So you check, is there an energetic alignment? That's heart-centered. So I love that you were asking questions, diving in, and then you had a match. Like, it was such a great thing. Did you get anything from that, Katie, too?
Yeah, just being able to connect more with people. Like, I'm trying to work on reaching out just to connect. Like, I'm really bad at keeping in touch with friends, and I'm moving back to Cincinnati, and that's kind of like an awesome time to just reconnect with people and kind of get out of my hermity ways that I've developed being up here.
Yeah.
Well, and when you connect with these people again and they ask what you've been up to, what's something authentic and heart-centered for you to share?
Oh, that's a good question. Just this whole year has been this huge transition for me, from losing my job to finding Isagenix. It's a great company that I connect with culturally. I was really losing faith in like the whole corporate world in general, of just kept finding these companies that seemed authentic and nice on the outside, but once you got into the organization, they just sucked the soul out of you. And it's really great to finally find one that is not that way, like everyone's genuine, and we make a lot of money, but there's so many organizations and so many leaders that just give back all the time.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to say?
No.
Awesome. So I love where, and again, for whoever's watching the recording, asking yourself, what does heart-centered mean to you? And how can you apply that to your network marketing approach, right? I actually love it. A gal at Celebration said she wants to change the term network marketing to unity conscious unity conscious community, right? That it's all about oneness and supporting each other. And so, so going back to heart-centered, so everyone's watching that or thinking about that for themselves in the Recording. Okay, now we want to talk about applying this, because like we said, the training's in between the calls. And I'm telling you guys, to get the most out of this series, I actually started my business in a series like this. It was a short burst, and I just really applied it. I mean, I was saying no to any distractions. I was really focused, because you can really maximize your learning in a short period of time. And so to apply these principles from the trainings I did last week. So I want to talk about, how did approaching making your list, which is a network marketing activity, right? Making your list of people from a heart-centered place. How did that feel different for you? How did it, how did it help writing down their names and how you'd want to approach them? I'd love to hear what you both share there.
Mm-hmm.
Can take this one first, Tiffany.
Oh, sure. I think, because I've been in 3 different network marketing companies in the past, and I think I might have mentioned to you at some point that they weren't the groups I was within, they did not feel heart-centered, and so I did feel like they were pushy, and they were teaching me to be pushy, and that wasn't my style, so that's why I didn't succeed in those. But what I do remember back then when I wrote my list, I felt almost like coming from a place, we'd sit in a big group and write them, and it almost was coming from a place of, who can I get? Can I get that person? Can I get that person? And I just didn't love that feeling I was getting when I was writing that list, because I felt like, well, these are all the people I'm about to annoy, you know what I mean? And since I wrote my list with Isagenix and just coming from a more heart-centered place with your leadership, I really felt more like, whose life can I change? And I know this person has low energy. That could really help them be able to get through the workday, and then be able to stay up and play with their kids, because I know that's a complaint of theirs, and things like that. And so it really came more from who can I help, and the list actually flowed very freely for me compared to before, where I was worried about their judgment, and all that kind of stuff. And so anyway, it felt a lot more comfortable for me to write it from a place of, how can I be of service to these people?
That is good. Yes.
Thank you.
Katie, what about you?
I'd say a lot of the same things. I changed the qualities a little bit of how before, I think I just picked every single one of my Facebook friends and just wrote everybody's names down. And this time I was a little bit more selective, kind of thought about who resonated with me through their Facebook posts, kind of who I thought might have similar goals, just in life in general. Not necessarily on the business side, but just friends that I was really close with to just reconnect with, just in general. And then just other people that I found that inspire me on Facebook through their posts, and reaching out, because if they inspire me, they could probably be one of those people that could help a lot of other people.
I was just making, is there anything more to say?
Well, I'll say something about that, if you don't mind. I love that, Katie, because I haven't thought about taking that approach about other people that I see on Facebook that are great connectors naturally, and so I haven't taken that approach of reaching out to them. I've really taken more of the approach of people who have connected with me back, and so I thank you for that. That's very helpful for me. Thank you.
Yeah, really, really amazing. I love that so much. And I found, and I'd love to hear for you both, what's been effective, because I know it'll help everyone watching the recording too, like what you say to open up the conversation that has them receive it differently than, I've received the Facebook messages of people just like, oh my gosh, you'd love this lipsticks, try this company, and it's like, okay, you don't even know me, But what I love to say when I take the heart-centered approach to making a list is, my intuition led me to connecting with you. My intuition led me to connect with you because I just see like you're so passionate about your family, or whatever's authentic for them. So what kind of language has worked for you that's heart-centered, and also I think maybe pierces through people's filter of, where they think it's just another person reaching out to them?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's worked yet, but I used me and my one friend have been big supports for each other through some of our mental struggles. So I reached out to him and I was like, I really have been feeling like I should, open and share this opportunity with you, because it's just done like a 180 for my mental state and all these, and just kind of opened up to him about some of the past stuff that we've talked about and see if he'd take a look at it.
Have you done Healthy Mind and Body?
Sort of. I started it. I plan on doing it again. As soon as I have to sign up for that and the Ice Body Challenge still, but that's on my list of things to do this week.
Nice.
I was just wondering, because you had mentioned that it had made such a difference for you in your mental state, and obviously the nutrition is for physical, so I wasn't sure if you had something to share around Healthy Mind and Body, because for me, I think I've done it twice now, but the first time, my favorite part was writing down basically what I was grateful for, what I was proud of myself for the previous day. And doing that consistently, I, no joke, started waking up and my first thought being, I'm so grateful. Like I woke up with the feeling and the vibration of gratitude and appreciation, like before my feet even hit the ground. That was really new for me, rather than waking up like, oh, I'm tired, it's early. And even that being my first thought, which doesn't seem like you necessarily choose it, but because of the consistent practice of what am I proud of myself for, what am I grateful for, I just noticed that's all programming. Mm-hmm. And we want to lead from a heart-centered place. We can just program our brains like that. Mm-hmm. So just to always, think of what we're most grateful for, to maybe have that be a daily practice or share that with other people. I mean, I love sharing that aspect with people as well. Mm.
Tiff, what about for you? What kind of language has really resonated for people?
And just to touch on what you guys are just talking about real quick, if that's okay, is that, I do what Erin was just talking about now, as a little bit more recently, kind of setting my intentions for the day, which is new to me. But Katie, I've struggled through with kind of some emotional things in my past too, and it really was a lot of the change had to do with my nutrition, because it really did affect my psychology. So I have actually found, before I even got into the setting my intentions and doing the self-hypnosis stuff, I found, and Derek, to my hubby, really found that just really getting that quality nutrition, and obviously had a huge change, especially the cleanse days. If I started to feel actually emotionally drained, but not physically drained, I would do a cleanse day and my emotions would actually change. And so I have felt that emotional shift too. So that's really cool that you shared that with your friend, with that, and then you guys can partner maybe up on the mind, the other part. I can't even think of what it's called right now. So, but anyways, and then some language I use, my most comfortable way to share is through stories. And so I will naturally just strike up a conversation about something else, just getting to know them, or rekindling a friendship, or whatever else it may be. And if they happen to ask what I'm up to, I'll share. But I'll just say something like I just said, that, I've had some huge shifts in my life recently in my physical health. I've lost weight and feel so much better. Derek and I are on cloud 9, and we've had a challenging relationship. So it's really been a big shift for us there as well. And just, I could share different, like energy, weight loss, sleeping. I mean, I ever see any of that stuff. Kind of depending on the person and their personality, I just share a story that I think they might resonate with. And then 9 times out of 10, they ask me what I'm doing to have that shift, and I'll say self-hypnosis. So I don't just talk about Isagenix. I'll say something about self-hypnosis, or this and that and this and that. And then Isagenix is a piece. It's a tool in my back pocket, and it feels to me less in their face sometimes, and I've been getting a good response out of, curiosity and continuing a conversation. And then other people, like, a couple people that I feel a lot like I could be a lot more direct with. I just straight up texted one of my family members and just said, he's had a heart attack and a couple cataracts and he's just 40, and so I just said, you really need to take a look at this. If you trust me with anything, because he does see me a little bit in the nutritional world, if you trust me with anything, please just try this out for a month, because I know it would make a huge difference in your world. And now he wants, a couple samples just to taste them, and then he's ready to move forward. So I think that level of certainty, Jess, and I know you and I have talked about just going at certain people with all people with certainty, but other people just, I think, sharing a story and having that organically lead into the conversation of Isagenix feels very natural for me, and it's been working very well for me. So
I love that so much. Yeah, it's like if you are a great storyteller, so if that's like authentic for people to share stories, and then people are then like, wow, how, like whichever part resonates for them. So that's absolutely amazing. There was something there I was going to ask about. Let me see if I can go back to it. Oh, yes, it was, tell me about how you prepare your energy before you go to reach out to someone. So how do you get into an energetic state that you think's like, I guess a high vibe state, that, because really 90% of this is energy. Like I could say that I can give you the perfect script ever to say to someone, but if my energy was off when I sent it, the energy will trump the words. You know what I mean? So what do you do to get in that energy state, high vibes?
Mm-hmm. Well, I pull from my Tony Robbins experience, and just kind of, I'll just kind of pump myself up a little bit if I'm feeling, and I really don't feel too much exhaustion anymore, but if I am, in the middle of a work day and I'm ready to kind of make a shift, and start reaching out to people, I will kind of get up, walk around, maybe have a shake or something like that. So I'm feeling awake and vibrant myself. And my hubby and I do a lot of intention setting. So I think about how I can help that person instead of coming at them with a sales pitch. I feel like, I get so excited and my cup is so filled when I help fulfill other people's wants and needs, in life. And so, anyways, I just, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, sorry. But anyways, so I think just, for thinking about having my mind instead of on me and my wants and needs, just really focusing on theirs, and that excites me enough to the point where my energy comes across to them, so.
That's awesome.
That's
I love
pretty
that
much
so
it.
much. Katie, anything there for you to share?
Well, this is something that I'm still working on. I'm moving right now, so my energy is like this week. So just trying to, I know you sent me the Abraham Hicks, and I went through and probably listened to like 3 hours of her today. And that like totally like reset everything for me. So I think I'll probably use that in the future, as well as I really like just jamming out to music. So getting some high vibe, energetic. I'm really in love with Despacito right now, so I'm like put that on repeat for a while. So just go at it for a while to get myself pumped. Kind of like before competition rally, team medal.
Yeah, love it.
So do you feel like because a situation like moving is happening in your life and your energy can only go this way?
No, I don't think so. But my energy and my mental state is something that I'm still working on. So I'm hoping that that's gonna it's a work in progress. So it's been a lot more stable since Vegas in general. This weekend it dipped pretty bad when I started packing. So it's starting to level back out. So it's definitely a goal of mine to just keep it up, definitely.
Well, do you notice that you have any particular thoughts or even reoccurring thoughts? Like when you notice like, oh man, shoot, it seems like my energy is low. Do you notice that there's certain thoughts that happen to be going on at that moment?
Yeah, lately it's just been not wanting to move. not wanting to put the effort into packing and moving and getting angry at my ex because I mean, it's not his fault, obviously, but it's easier to blame somebody else. So I just kind of have to, kick myself in the butt and be like, you know what? No, everything happens for for a reason. This was supposed to happen. It was a good time. Like, it's a fresh start, and try to get myself, built back up to looking at the future instead of concentrating on the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so good. So it sounds like you're really getting good at noticing where you like, oh, I just noticed my energy was down. Oh, what was I thinking about? Oh, why don't I just change what I was thinking about? And then that, like you said, levels, I don't think it levels it out, but if you were here and you were here, you raised it up.
Yeah.
So that's so great.
I'd like to be constantly up, no dips.
Well, one of the things, and I do love that you said that, and one of the things that makes me think of is to actually own the dips. And for a while, I thought the same thing, like, I'm never gonna dip. And then I dip, I'm like, crap, why am I dipping? But then I focus more on like that I shouldn't be dipping. But what I realized was, if we're talking about energy, and I'm going to call this resistance, times where energy dips, it's not that shouldn't be, but I use that to say, well, how am I being guided in this moment that, if I'm headed down this path and a tree falls, instead of being like, oh, crap, now I have to get over the tree, or I'm going to have to power through this tree, to use that this is an event to point me over to this road or this path. So I don't know if it makes a difference for you or anybody else on this call, bless you.
Bless you.
But when my energy dips, that's like a tree falling in the road that's pointing me to the path that's going to be easier and better for me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever I notice my dip, I'm like, oh, cool. Like, man, that path was starting to feel a little treacherous. So, you're telling me that I can change my path. Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm excited for you that this tree down is leading you towards Cincinnati, and the people that are already waiting to reconnect with you and haven't seen you for a while, they're really excited to hear what you're up to. And even to expand upon that further, they're actually subconsciously waiting for an opportunity, waiting for someone to bring a health solution, and even given who you are for the world, for someone to come along to provide them a health solution that boosts their mental state, because it's been years now where they feel like they're in this spot where they don't have control over their energy or their mental state, and subconsciously, like, they're literally waiting for you. So this event that you see as moving is actually a call from these other people that really need and desire what you're offering and the opportunity that you are.
That's awesome.
Well, seriously,
I love that.
Yeah, that's something to just keep alive throughout all of this, and that's amazing. So, kind of the final conversation I feel called to have right now, and in the trainings this next week, going deeper into enrollments, follow up, all that. But for this first one, I want to zoom out because it's heart-centered leader. I want to, for everyone live and going to be watching the recording, really tap into your leadership. Because I'll tell you, one of the biggest breakthroughs that took me from just being someone who enrolled people, which is great, it's exciting to enroll people, but I know because all of you filled out your questionnaires of how much income you desire to create with Isagenix, that's going to happen by developing your leadership, not just enrolling people. So I want to hear, and again, people watching virtually, you do this, or the recording, writing in your journal. But right now, let's talk about owning your leadership. And if there's anything for you to share in this safe space that's holding you back from seeing yourself as a leader, and then affirming your truth about your leadership.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say, I think part of it is being so new. And so working on developing my just how I verbalize things, you know what I mean? And it's just straight up a lack of practice at this point. And just understanding the general details of the products enough to be able to speak to them and then send them to the resources. But so I think right now for me, it's just developing the structure of how I approach all of this. I do know in my past, I have really, really struggled with looking at myself as a leader, and that came from my own insecurities. And actually, Jocelyn, the day I met you, it was before I had that appointment right before I met you. And I met with a lady who went through my whole personality type and everything. I won't get into that. But basically, one of the things that she said, I looked down this whole list of words and I kept skipping the word strong leader because I didn't even see that in myself. And so since then, I've been really working on identifying myself as a strong leader. And so I've shifted how I speak to people, and the response has been really good, just because it's just the presence that I'm playing with, and whether I feel it in the moment or not, I'm still playing with it. I'm kind of faking like I'm very certain and positive and all that kind of stuff. But what I'm finding is people are really responding to that and validating me in that. So I think it kind of took some testing. Do people look at me as a strong leader? I don't know. I'm just going to test it, So I just put my neck out there and tested it, and I've had just a lot of good feedback over the last 6 or 8 months, and now it's just to the point where, yeah, of course I'm a strong leader. It's a no-brainer. But it did take a process for my emotions to catch up to what other people were saying about me, So, so anyway, that's that.
It hit me with something. When you talked about certainty, it made me think about certainty as a function of knowledge, or a function of seeing oneself maybe as a leader. But what I got for myself just now was, as a heart-centered leader, I can be certain no matter what the circumstance or what my knowledge level, right? So even starting off Isagenix early, certainty is a state that people resonate with, and people want to be around and hear from people that are certain. So even if I didn't know anything about the products at all, and someone asked me, I'd love to get started with this Isagenix thing, do you know anything about it? I can own my certainty that I do not know anything. And really, I mean, someone I know, I would be like, okay, great. And if they said right after that, I am certain I can find the answer for you. I am certain I can get the right person that can answer that for you. I am certain I am not that person right now. I'd be like, all right, I'm in with this guy for sure. Mm-hmm. So what I got is, it just is a certainty. And I think it's when we try to cover up, trying to hide a place that we're not certain, rather than a heart-centered leader, which I'm taking on for myself this week, is to share anything that's there for me and just be certain about it. I'm certain that I don't know. I'm certain that I'm feeling like my energy is low right now. I'm certain. Whatever you're certain, just be certain about it. And I don't know. I think that would change a lot. First of all.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'd also say too, because I love what both of you just shared. Another breakthrough that was there for me, and I think a lot of people don't take on, which is why they are stagnant in their Isagenix business, is seeing yourself as a leader, relating to yourself as a leader before you have the results. So I literally took on the way of being as executive, the top rank in Isagenix, before I even had my first consultant. So I want you to envision part of this heart-centered development when you're doing your meditation or intention setting or on a walk. Envision that you are an executive with a minimum of 10 consultants, and now your energy is just attracting, who are those souls? Who do I have a soul agreement with that we're meant to work together? But a lot of people will be like, well, maybe I'm a leader if I get the results. But truly, meditate on, visualize yourself at celebration with 10 top leaders there with you. And then you're just like, okay, I'm open to receiving who those people are. And that's, again, 90% of this is energy. And so do you hear anything for yourselves, either one of you, about being a leader before you even have the results?
Mm-hmm.
Katie,
yeah, very much so.
Well, it kind of speaks back to all the Abraham Hicks that I've been listening to today. She's very much visualizing and, just not worrying about it either, not stressing about it, just owning it and accepting it, and it's gonna happen, like, especially, like, I don't know. But leadership is definitely something that I never really thought of myself as, which is, at least in the last few years, I found something while I was moving recently. It was like an essay I wrote in high school that said that I wanted to be an entrepreneur because I wanted to be my own boss, and I wanted to have my own work schedule and be financially free. And I was like, oh, hey, where did that girl go? Like, she disappeared for a while, but she's definitely back.
That's so cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love that so much. Yeah, she is back. Come on, girl.
Well, I have a request for all of us, because I really do get that. It's really just in our own deciding and declaring that we are a heart-centered leader, even before maybe the result of a heart-centered Isagenix leader. We can declare and be that. So I like each of us, as we conclude, to say, I am a heart-centered leader 3 times.
Okay.
So, Katie, will you go first?
Sure. It's kind of weird. Repetition's weird. I am a heart-centered leader. I am a heart-centered leader. I am a heart-centered leader.
Yeah.
And how'd that third one feel?
Felt good. Felt better than the first one. Just
That's
keep
good.
That'll be my mantra now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go next. I am a heart-centered leader. I am a heart-centered leader. I am a heart-centered leader.
Woo!
Hey!
All right, I'll go.
Woo!
I am a heart-centered leader. I am a heart-centered leader. I am a heart-centered leader.
That's awesome. You guys are so cute. All right. I'm going to hold my heart when I say this, but I am a heart-centered leader. I am a heart-centered leader. I am a heart-centered leader.
Woo! That's juicy. And everyone watching the recording, you do that too. Yell it in the bathroom.
Even though it's recording, we're watching you.
Just to wrap this up, and thank you both for showing up live, and thank you to everyone watching the recording. Please attend next week live if you can, because the more energy we can bring to this, it's powerful. And continue to check in with the trainings in between. And I also encourage you to post more in the groups. What's working for you, the challenges, the triumphs. The more energy we're putting into this, the more we're going to get out. And that the best way you can learn all of this is through action. And the faster you can mention, hey, I did this and I'm noticing it's not it doesn't seem to be producing the results I want. Let's talk through this. So the more we can be in action as we go, but action is the way to experience your heart-centered leadership. And that's all I've got to say. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I just am excited to check in with the actions, and we'll just see. I just know that the results will be produced from the heart-centered place. And so just taking actions and noticing where it was from a heart-centered place and not, I think we're going to see a really specific correlation between the results and the experience and the people that we attract when we notice, how do we get in, how are we approaching people, how are we getting ourselves in a heart-centered place first, what's our energy like, and I think we're going to be able to differentiate what the heart-centered leader aligned actions are, and then we can just focus in on those.
Yeah. Lastly, I'd say too, and I think we'll dive into this more on the next call, is to own the fact that our goal is to enroll people. That part of this heart-centered leadership is that is a result we all desire, right? And that will allow the universe to conspire with us and say, okay, great, let me show you the people that can use that help. And so I invite you to step into that too. Own your financial goal, own your leadership goal, own how many people you want to enroll each week and each month, and allow the universe to bring that to you. So that's the final thing that I wanted to say. Any final words from you, ladies?
I think this has been great. I think That's good. I would say just one thing you said that always stuck with me, and you said it the other day, but also today, is that you're emotionally unattached to the outcome, but you assume everybody's a yes, because why wouldn't, somebody want to feel better or change their situation? And so that just helps me to get into a level of certainty, just like I'm unattached to it, but, of course this can be helpful for people if it's an alignment for them, and so anyway, I just really appreciate that. So I've been really living that the last week since you said that. So I appreciate it.
Oh, good. I love it. And Katie, I didn't hear what your final word was.
I was just saying, like, I'm so high energy, I'm not going to be able to sleep. Like, it's 9 o'clock here, so.
Hey, take some of those heart-centered actions, you just can get right back in touch with people.
Absolutely.
That's right.
I am a heart-centered sleeper.
Yes.
All right. Much love to everyone.
Bye.
Talk soon. Bye.